one person that's been helping so many people here in Metro Detroit get on a solid financial footing is Laltsha. Is it Laltsha? You have
That
such
is
a great
correct.
name. Where did your name come from? I love that.
My mom. We've done some research, and we couldn't really find where the it started from, but I guess my mom just liked it, and so that's what she named me.
That is so great. See, it's so much better than Rhonda May. I know. And worse yet, I have a twin sister, Wanda Kay. Uh, that's a story.
Wanda's fine too.
But it's a great story, and you have a great smile to go with your name to make you stand
Thank
up.
you.
Laltsha Cunningham, she's the capability supervisor over at JVS Human Services. Uh, been a little bit crazy for you guys right now?
Absolutely, absolutely. The housing market is really booming right now. And as you stated earlier, not necessarily a buyer's market, but yet a seller's market. But again, when the sellers are selling their homes, they still need to buy somewhere else. So it's definitely an interesting time. And especially we're just coming out of well, not really coming out, we're still in it. We're just starting to get back to a little bit of normalcy. But purchasing in a pandemic, it's definitely been challenging for a lot of our participants and clients. And because there's so many different things and so many different layers that go along with purchasing right now.
Yeah, so I remember way back in the beginning, people weren't doing, showings. You weren't going into other people's homes. You were maybe doing things virtually, and the market really kind of slowed. And then the interest rates
Yes.
became lower and lower and lower. And now it's crazy. But for someone that's buying for the very first time, what advice do you give them? They need to do a lot of homework.
They do. They really do. And so the first advice we need to give to our potential home buyers is really learning how to manage their money and create a budget first, because that's really going to tell them what they can really afford to spend. And so after they really determine what they can afford to spend by using their budget, we want to tell them to shop around. There is a lot happening, in the market as far as, the sales prices on the homes. And so we're really encouraging our participants to shop around. There's a lot of instances where some of the sellers are asking for the sales concessions, but then some sellers are asking clients to pay a little bit above what the house is worth, and that's what we're seeing a lot happen right now. And so again, I want to really stress that it's important to definitely shop around, but also to know when it's maybe not time for you to buy. I think that because of the rates are really low, and I think they'll be this way for a little bit, but I think that excitement of thinking about how low the interest rates are is really pushing people to want to purchase right now. And so we don't want to stop them from purchasing, but we want them to do it in a responsible way.
Yeah, and we should point out too, when you're trying to look at your finances, it's not just what you pay monthly in your rent, because that's great. Because you guess what, when you live in an apartment and the hot water heater goes out, you call
Right.
up the maintenance guy.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
When something floods, you call up the maintenance guy. It's not like that when you own a home. So there are so many more factors that you have to add into that monthly budget to help
Absolutely.
prepare you for those unexpected homeowner surprises.
Yes, and those are some of the things that we teach as well, is really thinking, having our clients to think about what are going to be the unexpected expenses. And like you said, you don't have that landlord anymore, you become the landlord. And so it's important that you have an emergency budget to really pay for those home repairs. And then also in really when the participants and clients are looking for a home, it's important that they seek a home inspection prior to really signing the mortgage, but also they can have a clause put in the purchase agreement to make sure they have that home inspection and see what the home inspection comes back at, because the home inspection is really going to tell you a lot about the home. Most of us can't see these things with the naked eye. We're not skilled in that area, and so we want to make sure that when our clients are purchasing, that they are purchasing a house that is really going to be in their, good for them. It's in their best interest to buy the home, and they won't have a ton of repairs, when they first move in.
Laltsha Cunningham with us here on the MegaCast. She's the Financial Capability Supervisor over at JVS Human Services. And talking to you, I feel like everyone should go through your class because, I've had nightmare stories of people that have gotten into these homes, many of them on land contracts, and then they really get stuck. And when you start looking at that fine print, they don't have a lot of recourse.
They don't. And so we really, encourage, if you're even just starting out or not quite ready to purchase yet, we think it's important to at least get a home education course, somewhere in the middle of that, because it's really going to tell you everything that you need to know about purchasing, from, really managing your money, saving your money, qualifying, which is, a little bit different now than it was then prior to the pandemic. A lot of lenders are changing their requirements first, or credit scores and things like that. So it's a great class just for people who are really just wanting to, purchase, maybe not necessarily right now. A lot of people are starting to, you have you have a group of people that are pushing forward, but then we also have a group that's kind of pushing back a little bit because they don't have the funds to really pay over what the value of the home says it is. And so in taking this class, it's going to tell you everything that you need to know, again, about that process, again, pre-qualifying, what your credit score should be. That's very important. And then also what type of home that you want to get for your family, is very important, because when you think about a home, most people usually secure the loan for 30 years. And so that's a long time. And so, a lot of things change in that time frame. So we really teach our participants just everything they need to know from the beginning to the end as it relates to home ownership.
So, along with that, too, I know that a few years ago, before the market crashed, the housing market crashed, people were able to get homes that they had no business owning. They did
Absolutely.
not have the means to be able to support some of the loans that they were getting, and you were putting down like $10. Is that still the case now,
That
or
is not
no?
the case anymore at all.
That's good.
Yes, it is. It's great because a lot of people lost their homes during that way. There was a lot of ARM programs, that really, once the ARM matured, those houses, their payments really increased quite a bit. And so that really caused a big crisis within, mortgages. And again, as you said, a lot of people lost their homes. So now it's different. Most lenders do require a homeownership course, such as the one we teach here at JVS. And then also a lot of lenders are changing really the requirements about, really purchasing with them. And so it's important to really work closely with your lender to find out what the requirements are. But also to, again, it really goes back into that budget. A lot of people took those mortgages and they didn't really take time to factor what the cost would be into their budget. It was just a situation where you could, like you said, pretty much get a mortgage very easily. And so some requirements and restrictions had to be changed in order to do that. And again, going back to that homeownership course, that's going to certify that you understand more about the house homeownership world than they did before. And that was another reason why the mandate was really put in to have participants and potential homeowners, shall I say, take a homeownership course to really learn, because a lot of them just was misinformed.
Yeah, I will say, as someone who has covered Detroit neighborhoods for so many years, I think the mortgage crisis has really been such one of the key elements that has really, fed into Detroit's blight problem, because so many people did lose their homes, and then they sat and they got stripped, and and then the neighborhood goes down house by house by house, and it's been devastating to some of these neighborhoods. So it's so great to
Absolutely.
see that there is a program such as this. So with that, I know that JVS over there, you guys do so much more than just trying to educate people about being homeowners. What other programs do you want people to know about?
We have again, money management goals. I always go back to budgeting, because budgeting is really the foundation for anything that you do, is really learning how to manage your money. But we have an amazing program that teaches families how to manage their money. Also, we have a program that helps families save. We do individual and group sessions about all of our topics. We also have a fantastic program for credit. Many families struggle with really keeping a good credit score due to a lot of different barriers. And so we work directly with those individuals, and we take a deeper dive into their own personal credit situation, and we help them learn how to clear their credit report, omit any errors, and really understand how credit scores are calculated. And those are really some of our biggest programs.
That's great that you're doing that. I remember talking to a father on Detroit's East Side, and he was recently released from prison, starting his own business because he is a convicted felon. It can be hard to get a job. But one of the things, starting your own business, trying to get that line of credit, it was a landscaping building or business. But one thing I still remember him saying is that I wish someone would have told me about the importance of credit growing up and how important your credit is and how to get credit and why it's so important to being successful in life. And because, it used to be you could get a credit card if you blinked your eye. All the college students were getting credit cards. That is not the way to go.
It is not. And, credit is really, I always say credit is your financial power. And it's so many things that credit is used for that it wasn't even used for back in the day. Now you have to have a good credit score, really almost to get utilities. You have to have a great credit score to get employment. And so it's really, really important that we teach families the importance of it. And I agree with you. This is something that should have been taught really to high school students. And many families learn by trial and error. And so that's one of the things that we focus on at JVS is having families be educated versus learning through trial and error. The importance of credit it's just huge, Ronnie, and I can't really stress enough to families to really take time to focus on your credit, because it really determines how much money you spend, right? The lower your credit scores is, the higher your interest rates are. And obviously, the higher the interest rate is, the more money you spend. And so we want to challenge families to, stop and take a look at your credit report. And a lot of families, they really tend to get caught up a little bit on the actual score itself. But we really dive deep in and to show families not to focus so much on the score, but focus on the credit that you have itself, and learning how to manage it, keeping it below that 30%, making your payments on time, keeping your utilization low, stop, applying for unnecessary credit cards, and I think, a lot of us have gone to the store and we get excited. We see that 25% off, you apply for this card, and in some of those cases, it can be a good thing for you, but many families don't understand the importance of really paying those bills off before the end of the month. And so they inquire a lot of interest. And so we want to really make sure that they're understanding that. Yeah. Those credit scores is really going to dictate, again, the amount of money you spend. And, we want our families to spend less on the things that they want.
So with that, how can people find out more about the program and other programs that you have going on?
They can reach us on our website at jvshumanservices.org. We also have an intake line, which is 248 233-4299. And then they can also reach us at www.financialhelp@jvs.org as well. We also have a great program that is coming up soon here. It's kicking off on June 14th. It is our How to Get From Here to Home program, and it's in recognition of Homeownership Month, which is June. And we're going to really take 1 week, and we're going to dive into some deep topics. We're going to start with purchasing in a pandemic, and then we're going to wrap up with an amazing lunch and learn, which participants can log into our Zoom webinars and really get information from the experts. We're going to have we'll have realtors available. We'll have some home inspectors that are available that can talk to people about some of the things they find in homes that they may want to purchase. We're going to have some credit experts and originators there as well. It's going to really be a great week of information to learn about not only just purchasing a home, but also credit and managing money and budgeting and all those things that are really important to families.
It's such an important resource and a great resource that's right here available to so many of us. So please take advantage of that. Laltsha, we so appreciate your time with us today.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me. I appreciate giving this opportunity to really spotlight some of the programs that we have for the community.
Most definitely. JVSHumanServices.org. You can find out more about this program and so many other great programs that they have over there at JVS.